everybody, Swifty and I are here today, and today we are going to learn a little bit about colour and measuring the horses and a little bit about the difference between horses and ponies. So first of all, let's talk a little bit about colour. So we got 3 different colours of horses here. Well, actually just 2, but 2 different shades of one colour. So Swifty is a bay horse. So bay means that he is brown on his body and he has a black mane and tail. So we do live in Florida, so he's got some bleached parts here, but typically his mane is black and the tail is black. He's called a bright bay. Liam, over here, is a dark bay. So you can tell the color of his neck is a much darker brown than Swifty's. Swifty is actually more like the color of Sugar, but Sugar is not a bay. Sugar's mane is the same color as her body, and she's a chestnut. So her mane and tail are both this red color, and she doesn't have a whole lot of real bright red in her coat, so she is more of a brown chestnut that's actually classified as a liver chestnut. She's not quite totally liver, but she's more on those lines. So that is the colors, and you're going to see a color chart here also. But as well as the colors, we've got to look at the different markings. So Swifty doesn't actually have any markings. By markings, I mean, does he have any markings on his face? No, he's all brown. He doesn't have any markings on his face at all. Does he have any white on his legs? No, he's all brown with the black on the bottom. That is typical of a bay. However, if we come over here and we look at Liam, Liam has got white on his face, on his beautiful, handsome face. So he has got very unusual markings. So he has this, which is called a star up here. But if you notice, the star extends all the way down his nose. It kind of disappears here, and then it comes back up here and it covers his nose. This, if he only had this part at the bottom, this would be what's called a snip. If this and this were joined and he didn't have the white on the bottom, it would be called a stripe, but his is broken. So he's actually got what's called a broken stripe on his face, and that's what his marking is called. And Sugar here, if you look at Sugar, Sugar has a very wide white section that goes all the way down to her nose. So this is, because it's wider, it's actually called a blaze. Sugar's is probably, some people might call it a stripe, but it is a little bit wider across her nose, so it would be called a blaze. So that's how you classify the markings on the horse. Swifty's very plain, doesn't have any markings. So now let's talk a little bit about measurement. So horses are measured in something called hands, like your hand. And it is related to your hand, because if you were to take a measuring tape and measure from here to here, it's going to be approximately 4 inches. So a hand is 4 inches. So how that's measured is, and how it's stated is, it's however many hands, it's hands high. So it's just the number and then HH. So if the horse was an even 10 hands, 12 hands, 14 hands, whatever it is, it would just be 14 HH. However, if he measured 14 and 2 inches, then he would be 14.2 HH, and we call that 14.2 hands high. So where do we measure the horse? Well, we measure the horse on the withers, and the withers are right here, where the neck comes down and it stops here at the top of the bone before it hits the back. This is called the withers. And the reason that we measure on the withers is that it's really a very stationary part of the horse. It doesn't move up and down like the neck, and it doesn't kind of dip down when you touch it like the back does. So it's very stationary. The horse really can't move that up and down. So we'll measure that by straight across from there. So it would come right out and be measured directly from there to the floor. That would tell you how big the horse is. Swifty is right around about 10 hands high. And so the size of a horse makes a difference whether it's a pony or a horse. So not all small horses are babies. Some are ponies. And a pony, in general terms, in most parts of the world, anything under 14.2, so 14.2 hands high, when they're fully grown, which is typically around about 4 years old, are going to be classified as ponies. Anything above 14.2 is going to be classified as a horse. Liam is 16 hands high. He's an average sized horse. Sugar is a quarter horse. She's right around about 15.1 hands high. So that's how we measure the horse.